It's primary day across 4 states. You got Kansas, you got Michigan, Washington State, and Missouri. And President Trump's shadow is, well, looming over all those primary contests, especially in Kansas, where he went against the advice of the Republican establishment and he endorsed far right-wing candidate Chris Kobach over the sitting governor. Now, also today, the final special edition of the season in the battleground state of Ohio. You've got 31-year-old Danny O'Connor, and he is in striking distance there of becoming the first Democrat to represent Central Ohio in decades. He's up against 57-year-old Troy Balderson, a state senator endorsed by President Trump. Joining me right now is former Ohio State Senator, now with American University, Capri Cafaro, and the spokeswoman for the Republican National Committee, Kayleigh McEnany. I'm going to start with you, Capri, because you've actually worked with Troy Balderson.
That's right.
You're not a fan, and you don't think he's going to make it through the finish line, despite the president's endorsement?
Troy Balderson is a nice enough guy, and I don't mean to disparage him, but I think that there were probably stronger candidates in the Republican primary for this seat. Senator Balderson was chair of the Energy and Natural Resources Committee, but he wasn't necessarily someone who was prolific in regards to passing bills. This is a seat that has been held by Republicans since John Kasich won it in the early 1980s. Pat Tiberi has vacated the seat because he's gone to the Ohio Business Roundtable. And what I think this race is going to tell us, because it should not be in striking distance for a Democrat, but I think with a guy like Danny O'Connor, who is young, who is the Franklin County recorder, who has distanced himself from Nancy Pelosi and Washington, is that if Democrats are successful, this shows that having a candidate that matches the values of the district is
more important than party. No,
right.
I mean, I think you're onto something here, and it's what Donald Trump was onto as well. In other words, he didn't fit into any particular Republican platform. Absolutely. He actually borrowed a lot of things that many of your voters in your district, Capri, as a Democrat, would appreciate.
Absolutely.
Look at, for example, the support of unions for this president. And what you realize, Kayleigh, is we're in a very different universe where party platforms, and I know you work for the Republican Party, but, I hate to say it, I think in some ways they are far less relevant than the candidate themselves. Your thoughts?
It's an interesting point, because President Trump certainly came into our party with new, with fresh, with bold ideas, ideas that were foreign to the establishment of our party. And those ideas won the day because they spoke to the American people. They spoke to the blue-collar workers in Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, so much so that I would argue the Republican Party has evolved to match the president and become the party of blue-collar workers. So
I agree with that. I agree with that. And I think that he's been very successful. I mean, I've told the viewers often before, I'm an Irish Catholic, and my family was Democrat like they were Irish and Catholic, right? I mean, that was just part of the deal where I grew up. And what I would say is that those Irish Catholic blue-collar Democrats, they don't have a lot in common with the Democratic Party these days, whether it's Bernie Sanders' talk of socialism, whether it's Elizabeth Warren and the elitism, or Hillary Clinton for that matter. And I know, Capri, you come from a similar kind of background where, but in Ohio, you still have many of those folks out there that are seeking, right, some kind of representation that's not part of the global elite, but is part of the working class.
That's right.
And it makes it fair game, frankly, for Republicans or new folks like a 31-year-old. Or you think about Connor Lamb in Pennsylvania.
That's right. And I think that there is some similarities here between Connor Lamb, the special election in Pennsylvania 18, right over the border from where I'm from, northeastern Ohio, western Pennsylvania, and the situation here, which again is a special election in central Ohio. This area is a little bit more suburban in Ohio 12, so it's a little bit different. But I think what you're seeing is a matchup between a weaker Republican candidate versus someone, on the Democratic side that is bringing enthusiasm and is willing to accept certain aspects of the Trump doctrine while, also aligning himself with more traditional Democratic values as opposed to the Democratic socialists we're seeing in places like the Bronx.
It's pretty, it's pretty interesting stuff. All right, Kayleigh, what's your over-under on this one? Do you think that the Republicans are going to pull through?
I do. I do think that Troy Balderson will win. I think it will be a narrow margin, less than 5. And I think it's really important to point out that if he does win, it is because of the President of the United States endorsement. This race was always trending in the wrong direction. They were closing the gap. The Democrats were, Danny O'Connor on Troy. And this president came in, got a rally, 20,000 RSVPs, packed the House.
Wow,
and if we win, it is because of that enthusiasm that he basically was a lightning rod into our base.
All right. Star power. All right. Thanks so much, Capri and Kayleigh.